The GMTI continues to play an important role in helping destinations, brands, and industry stakeholders better understand the evolving Muslim travel market and the opportunities ahead. And now, to take us deeper into the key insights and findings from this year's report, please join me in welcoming the CEO of CrescentRating and HalalTrip, Mr. Fazal Bahardeen.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, friends, a lot of friends here today. Thank you very much for being with us here today. I'm not very good at reading script, but I'll try. So it's my pleasure to share with you the insights of the 11th edition of the Mastercard-CrescentRating Global Muslim Travel Index. We started 12 years ago, actually. And this is the 11th year I'm presenting the GMTI report. The destinations that, I think we have talked a lot this morning about that, the destinations that win Muslim travel over the next decade will not be the ones with most flights or most hotels or even most halal restaurants. They will be the ones that travelers can trust before they arrive. This is the overall thesis behind the Global Muslim Travel Index 2026 report. And everything I will share with you today flows from that perspective and that data. To recap a little bit our history with MasterCard, it's now in its 11th edition. Over 12 years, MasterCard and CrescentRating have published 34 joint reports out there. Together with MasterCard, we have not just built a ranking report, I think we have built a global intelligence layer, one that tells you where Muslim travel demand is going, which destinations are structurally ready, and where the gaps between travel expectations and destination reality are widest. Let us start with some from the market itself. The Muslim population will reach 2.22 billion in this year, and 2.57 billion by 2036. Nearly 29% of all humanity. 71% of that population is under 40 today. This is not a niche segment. It was never a niche for us many years ago as well. It's not a niche at the margins of global tourism. This is the fastest growing, youngest, and most globally mobile consumer base in travel. When I say the market is compounding, we mean that the population growth, income growth, travel propensity are all moving in the same direction at the same time. Last year, our model projected 186 million Muslim international arrivals for 2025. The actual number, our estimate now is 196 million. That's a 10 million ahead of our projections, and an 11.3% year-on-year growth. As a result, we have recalibrated the 2030 projections as well. We used to project 245 million arrivals by 2030. Now we have revised the projections to 262 million, with an annual expenditure reaching $310 billion by 2030. This is not really a post-pandemic catch-up story anymore. The baseline has permanently shifted. Destinations now need to recalibrate their plans to this new reality. One other interesting fact is that when we we have been looking at this market for many years. In 2019, close to 90% of all Muslim outbound travelers came from just 30 source markets. By 2026, this year, that share has dropped to 77%. That means nearly 1 in 4 Muslim outbound trips now originate from emerging and diaspora markets. Communities across Europe, North America, East Asia that were previously invisible in our data. For destination marketers and policymakers, the demand map has changed. When we look at Asia, Asia now accounts for 65% of global Muslim arrivals, nearly 128 million trips, with a market penetration of nearly 21%, which means 1% of arrivals to Asia are actually Muslim arrivals. And as long-haul corridors face disruptions and volatility, intra-Asia travel and regional corridors are strengthening. Asia is not just growing, it is becoming the gravitational center for this market. If you are a destination in this region, you are in the most strategically advantaged position in Muslim travel. The question is whether your destination readiness infrastructure matches your position. So let's look at some traveler signals. 5 years ago, we launched the Muslim Travel Intent Tracker. It scans near-term, mid-term, and long-term travel intent to give us an early warning view of demand. What MTIT showed us in the first half of 2026 is this near-term intent is sensitive to volatility. Airspace disruptions, I think as David talked, and also we had some discussion in the morning, price confidence, regional events, but the mid to long-term intent remains structurally intact. The hesitation you may be seeing in booking windows right now is tactical, not structural. The traveler is not stepping away from this market. The demand is there. The question is whether your destination is ready to capture it when the window opens. We hope the window is opening soon. Okay, let's look at some of the readiness signals. And this is where I want to spend some time, because readiness is no longer just about infrastructure. It has become an operating system. Over the past 17 years, we have developed a suite of frameworks that now form the operating language of Muslim-friendly destination development. One of our most compelling frameworks is called ACES, which is what we use for ranking destinations, measures what you have: access, communication, environment, and services. RIDA is a framework that we launched about 2 years ago. RIDA designs what you need to build next. And trust is a framework that we sort of built last year. Trust proves your credibility at the time of booking. So MTIT predicts where the demand is coming from, and all of this feeds into the next thing that I'm going to talk about, which is the destination activation stack, the system that connects insight to action. Let me show you how this works as a system. ACES is the infrastructure envelope. It benchmarks your current readiness across 150 destinations. RIDA is the experience filter. It helps you design the next generation of Muslim-friendly experiences. And trust is the catalyst. It is what converts a traveler's hesitation into a confirmed booking. Those do not work in isolation. Together, they transform raw destination assets into future-proof competitive advantage. That brings me to the topic that we have talked also in the morning, something that will fundamentally change, and I think David mentioned as well, fundamentally change how travelers find you and where they find you at all, or will they find you at all. 80% of travelers are already using AI tools for travel planning, and what AI does is compress the decision journey. Discover, verify, book. What used to take days of searching now takes seconds of algorithmic inference. Here is the implication for if you are a destination. If you are a destination, it's not machine readable. You are invisible to the next generation of Muslim travelers. Not because they choose not to find you, because the AI that made the decision for them never encountered you. So we thought we will build something for destinations. So here is what we have built, and it's available now. We built a AI recommendation readiness auditor, or IRA. Runs your establishment through 4 decision critical scores: evidence activation, recommendation readiness, recommendation confidence, and entity clarity. These map across 6 diagnostic sections and draw from 3 evidence streams: your website content, your authoritative assurance records, and external AI discovery agents. It tells you not just whether a Muslim traveler can see you on a search engine, but whether an AI travel agent will recommend you. This is a fundamentally different question, and it matters more now. So you have the QR code. It's still a beta version. You can drop your URL there and ask it to run the audit, and it'll tell you quite a bit of information. Now let's look at the most important one that most of us are here for, the rankings on Global Muslim Travel Index. I want to reframe how you think about what these numbers mean. GMTI ranks 150 destinations across using almost 60 plus data sets. The scores you see are not awards, they are readiness signals produced by the same intelligence system I have been walking you through. So here we are. Our top GMTI rankings for this year. Malaysia continues to hold the top position at a score of 83, up 4 points. Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey tie at 79. Singapore is the top non-OIC destination globally at 73 points, up 2 points, ranking 10th overall. What the rankings reveal this year is a story of momentum. Destinations that are rising are the ones that are actively investing in readiness infrastructure. When it comes to non-OIC destinations, what I showed you earlier was the overall rankings. We also produced the non-OIC rankings. For non-OIC destinations, the ranking story is especially important. Singapore leads as usual. Singapore and Malaysia has been leading from the very inception of the GMTI. Hong Kong rose 2 ranks. Congratulations to Hong Kong. Philippines gained 5 ranks. Japan rose 7. South Korea also rose to crack the non-OIC top 10. What drives these gains, not that these destinations became more Muslim majority, but they made Muslim-friendly readiness visible, reliable, and credible. They invested in the signals that Muslim travelers look for when planning their trips. In non-OIC markets, trust is not assumed. It must be built, validated, and communicated. That is where the competitive advantage lies. This is the third year that we also started, now in its third year, the Muslim women-friendly destination index tracks what is now a 90 million strong segment, accounting to 48% of all global Muslim arrivals. This index applies a tailored ASUS lens that specifically weighs safety, respect for faith, privacy-ready spaces, and sustainability. Malaysia leads the OIC rankings, and Singapore leads the non-OIC rankings. The message for destination planners is this: Muslim women travelers are not a subset of the Muslim travel market. They are nearly half of it, and the destinations that understand this and design for it are building a significant structural advantage. We also just released with Mastercard, I think 2-3 weeks ago, the second edition of the Muslim Women in Travel report. And the last one, the ranking, we started this last year for reasons that I'm going to talk about. Now it's its second year. I want to draw your attention to one of the fastest growing and most underserved segments in global travel. 1.3 billion people worldwide experience some form of significant disability. That figure comes from UN Tourism. What makes it commercially critical is not the number itself, it is the travel behavior behind it. People with accessibility needs almost universally travel with companions, family members, carers, partners, which means every accessible traveler you capture often represents 2, 3, or 4 bookings. Looking at the ranking, Malaysia leads the OIC group with a score of 83, followed by Qatar and Indonesia. In the non-OIC rankings, Hong Kong and Singapore co-lead. Driven by advanced public infrastructure, seamless transit, and institutional investment in accessibility. The destinations rising in this index are not doing so by accident. They're investing in barrier-free infrastructure, accessible hospitality standards, and policy frameworks that make universal design an operational norm rather than an afterthought. I want to close with this. The GMTI 2026 is live now. You can scan the QR code on your table. And for the first time, what we have built is not just a report, it is a live digital ecosystem. The full index is available in 14 languages. There's an interactive data. You can filter live destinations, indicators, cross-reference your own benchmarks directly. There's also AI-powered audio, executive summary, and multi-perspective policy debates. And we have talked, David and I have discussed this many times. And the full report is available for download. QR code on your screen looks a bit small, sorry. Oh, no, this one must be better. Will take you directly, but on the table as well. So the intelligence layer is open, the trust infrastructure is live, and the destinations that act on what they find here are where the next decade of growth in Muslim travel will flow. Thank you very much.